A Course in Carols, song number 20 is the March of the Three Kings. This is an F minor, and we're going to go F minor, B flat minor 7, and C7, and then we're going to transpose on the third verse up to G minor, C minor 7, and D7. All right, starting on an F minor chord, and our first note is an F, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. Dawn breaks forth, arising in the east. A mighty host of heroes marches hither. Dawn breaks forth, they come from out the east. Their armor glinting in the rising sun. A page boy leads with his trumpet bold. He sounds a tone, and my heart is filled with wonder. What brings this fierce host to Bethlehem? We seek the Savior of the race of men. 3 great kings have led us by that star. You see it brightly, though the sun has risen. 3 great kings have led us by that star. Come join our ranks and see the holy child. The host moves on bearing chests of gold. I see the kings with a bodyguard of paladins. My heart cries out, you must go with them and find the Savior of the race of men. Street by street, we pass each rich abode, and each new door holds hope and expectation. Street by street, and looking to the star, we come at last to where the light shines down. The Son of God lays upon the hay. The Son of God laid within a lowly stable. 3 kings bow low here in Bethlehem before the Savior of the race of men. All right, and I forgot to mention that I crossed out the minor there on the end of that last chord to give us our Picardy third and us in hope there at the end. So let's talk a little bit about these chords. F minor is generally, people tell you to finger it with your first finger on the first fret of the 4th string, and your second finger on the first fret of the 2nd string, and your your pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So lots of people do it this way. It's very comfortable to do it this way. I actually like to switch my first 2 fingers around, pretend I'm doing an F chord with the pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So there's my F chord. Now I'm just going to slide my 2nd finger down a fret to the 1st fret, and it turns it instantly into an F minor. And I like that because it allows me to make that switch between F and F minor really, really quickly. There's other reasons I like it too, but that's one of them. Then let's talk about the B flat minor 7. We've got barring across the 1st fret. It's just that easy. And then we've got C7, which is, of course, first finger, 1st fret, 1st string. So going up to the key of G minor, if you leave that first finger, 1st fret on the 1st string, and then you put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd and your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd, you get your G minor chord. And I like this again because it's so easy to transition between G major and G minor. And this is why I like to do G major this way, is because this is such an easy transition to this or to G7. There's a lot of other reasons why, but that's why I like to do my G this way rather than one of the other ways that I've talked about in some of the previous videos here. I definitely don't like the pinky G. Not my favorite. So that's G minor, and then C minor 7's easy, just barring across the 3rd fret, and then we move that down a fret for D7, and we add our second finger on the third fret of the first string to give our D7. Now, of course, if you want to do the other version of D7, which is frets 2, 0, 2, 0, then that's fine too. It should work. All right. So let's talk about what I did strumming-wise. Pretty much the same thing for both verses, okay? I have this little thing where I've got down, 2, 3, up, down, right? And with a staccato there. And that little circle thing is my little way of saying a staccato, okay? So down, 2, 3, up, down, right? Or up, stop, right? Because you're stopping it as soon as you've strummed it. And that's pretty much self-explanatory. Beyond that, 1, 2, ready, and dawn breaks forth, arising in the east, a mighty host of heroes marches hither, dawn breaks forth. Now, if you notice where I'm doing that up-down thing is every time I have a dotted quarter note. So dawn breaks forth. There's a dotted quarter note there. Rising in the east, another dotted quarter note. And then we do dawn breaks forth again. Dawn breaks forth. Ba-bum. And then rising sun. Ba-bum. Right? In all those places. If you want to try it with me, here we go. 1, 2, ready, and dawn breaks forth, arising in the east, a mighty host of heroes marches hither, dawn breaks forth. They come from out the east, their armor glinting in the rising sun. Right? And I didn't really do it there, but you could do it there. It would work. Okay, and then we've got these staccatos right in a row in this next section. And I thought this, it's all about marching soldiers coming to Bethlehem with 3 kings, big huge host, right, of holy warriors, paladins. That's what paladins are. If you ever played Dungeons and Dragons like I did when I was a kid, then you know what a paladin is. It's a holy warrior, right? And so we've got this staccato thing going on, and there's 2 ways you can accomplish this. You can do it just by muting the strings with your palm, with your strumming hand, like this, okay? A page boy leads with his trumpet pulled, right? Or you could go up to an inversion of C7, bar across the 3rd fret, put your second finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. This is also C7. And then we can do these kind of pump staccatos, right? Where we're going like this. The host moves on, bearing chests of gold. I see the kings with a bodyguard of paladins. What brings this fierce host to Bethlehem? We seek the savior of the race of men. Right? And so those pump ones work really well. All you're doing is you're hitting it, and then you're releasing the tension on the strings so that it's actually your fretting hand that's muting them, right? Unfortunately, this only works on barred chords, right? Okay, because if I was to do it down here, this pumping action, I'd only be muting the first string, right? So it would sound like this, which is not the effect we're going for, right? So there is actually one more way you could do these staccatos, and that's to do the pinky mute. Now, I've never really practiced the pinky mute, so I'm going to have to take this really, really slow in order to do it. Okay, but the pinky mute is where you take your fretting hand pinky and you actually mute the strings with that. So you go. To me, that just seems like I'm asking my left hand to do too much work, when I could just strum and put my hand down and get nearly the same effect, right? Okay. Some people use that pinky mute though to really, really, really great effect. So it's good to know about, okay, in case you ever want to use it for something. And that's pretty much it. Now, other than that, just where I felt like we needed to just stop for a second rather than continue on with those patterns, you notice I just did one purse. I did not notate those in, so A mighty host of heroes marches here, the dawn breaks forth, right? And the other place that I think really benefits from that is my heart is filled with wonder, right? Just take a break from doing that. And anytime you can find a spot in a song to take a break from your strumming pattern is good, because mixing and matching and mixing things up is what delights the human ear and the human soul. So don't feel like you have to be tied and have your hands tied to some pattern that has to go through the entire song. It's just not musical. And so mix things up, match things up, and experiment. And you can always use other patterns, right? If you don't like what I'm doing here, you can substitute in all different kinds of things. I'm sure that some finger picking would go nicely in some of those pause sections, right? Let me just try that really quick, because I just thought of it, right? Trumpet bold, he sounds a tone, and my heart is filled with wonder. Right? Now that's kind of cool, right? Okay, I just thought of that now, and my heart is filled with wonder, and I have these descending arpeggios, right? So play around, make it your own, or do it my way. Either or, it's going to be good. Now, I just want to end by talking a little bit about the origin of this song. It is a French carol, and the French have produced some awesome carols, I have to say. And we've got this tune is traditional, and the French words are out there, right? So if you want to do it in French, you can. When I found this as a child in a little caroling book that was, yay big, and you're supposed to take out and go caroling with you, the translation that was in there was just completely useless. I was grateful to be introduced to it, but you just couldn't sing this translation because all the accents for the words were like in the wrong places and stuff. It was just completely wrong. It did not fit the music at all. And so I actually went through years and years and years later, because I really wanted to sing this song, and I couldn't find a good translation for it. So I went through and did my own. Now, it's only very loosely based on the original French, but it has a lot of those elements in there, like the paladins, and you've got this big, huge army, behind the three kings. And I don't know that that's how we usually think of the three kings, as the three kings with this big, host of warriors, behind them anymore. But that's how they thought about it at the time. Three kings marching in with their holy warriors, right? Their paladins, and so. I played on that a little bit, and so it's not really true to the original French. Like, it's not like a literal translation, but I think it's true to the spirit of what the original French lyrics were like. Me and my French dictionary in hand in one semester of French in college, doing the best I could, right? So luckily, when you're doing a translation, you don't have to be 100% super dead on with it. But in fact, it's often better if you aren't, because you can be more poetic in your own language than you can ever be trying to literally translate something. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. There's a very famous orchestral piece that is based on this tune. It's escaping my mind who it's by. So if you know the tune and you know the piece that I'm talking about, please post in the comments for other people so that they can find that, because it's just an absolutely glorious piece. Anyway, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Keep practicing your ukulele and spread some Christmas cheer, right? So we'll see you next time.